Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23 Newton Heath episode 52. And we started up the new season last time. We're going to continue on with that. Next up is that U23 Premier League side cup that we participate in. Last time we nearly made it out of the group stage. Very, very nearly. We're going to try to do that this time, but it's really not a big deal. It's the most insignificant tournament that we are involved with. But one of the big telltale signs of performance is salary. Has been for a long time. If you read anything regarding like soccernomics, if you've ever delved into that category, how much you spend in transfers is important, but how much you pay in wages seems to be the most consistent teller of that overall performance. And Coventry is at the top with Reading, Derby, Lincoln, and Hull. Really the top four, well ahead of everybody else. I mean, we're talking about more than $1.25 million gap between fourth and fifth place. There's your heavy four favorites. We find ourselves in 14th at not quite 4 million. So we've moved up a fair bit. We're paying more in salary. We've got some better players in, and that's already starting to feel like our territory. At least a couple games into the season, I'm feeling like that's probably our territory, is that mid-table. Now, if we can find more signings before the transfer deadline, which is right around the corner, if we can find more signings in January and boost up to another level, you could see us competing for playoffs or something. But anyway, we are the only rich club in terms of the finances. But there are plenty that are secure, that are well in hand. There are plenty that are okay. And in terms of insecure, you might not be able to see it behind the face cam, but there are just two clubs with Crewe and Accrington Stanley. And Accrington Stanley is clearly in a lot of trouble, as they are just at 2.2 salary, when the next closest, Wimbledon, is just shy of 2.7. So you can see Accrington Stanley finding a hard time. They have not found a hard time in the first couple of matches, though. And we kick off with this under-21s competition against Barnsley under-21, so the under-21 team in our group. So we'll see how we perform. We're at home for this one. I certainly do make us favorites, as Barnsley is not the toughest. It's not Arsenal like we had last year. I put a fairly decent squad up for this one, but I had a few of our players that were a bit on the heavy match load side that we gave a rest to. Plus, we do actually have a couple of players out on international duty, so that defensive mid that we have in Morgan or something like that, he is out on international duty, so we have a replacement, Jenks, in his place. And then, a couple changes, couple guys not on the bench as we get the opener. Joseph Bull with his third goal of the season. That is one of our lone E's. Right place, right time on that one, for sure. Lapalabai lays it off for Ndidi. And Ndidi crossing to the far post. Andriucci, one of the ones in for the side. Sunmin makes the difficult save from there, but cannot hang on to it. Only gets one arm to it. Gets a forearm to it, really. And it deflects right to Bull, and Bull just pounces on it, puts it in the back of the net. If we can get a bit of a lead going, I plan on subbing a couple guys out to get them some additional rest, to at least prevent them from playing a full 90 today. And early on, with an half hour played, it's been all us so far. Everybody on side at the time of the kick, and we go very close there. Muir is going to recover the ball, though. Terry, Muir on a yellow. Got to watch out for that one. He'll be prospect to sub out. That one looks like it scraped the top end of the net towards the back edge. So it wasn't terribly close, but it was certainly fairly close. And we go close again, but Sundman goes straight to him. Grabs that one. They got a guy playing with an injury there. Moore with a clean tackle. Ford 1-on-4 there. Was never going to get to that one. Keeper grabs it. Another long ball for Ford. Misses that occasion. Terry switches up to Andriucci. Andriucci has some space. He's going to take the early cross to Ford. Ford pulling back, running for that far post, does win the header, but can't get enough purchase on it to send it the direction it needs to go. And Diddy easily gets to this one, lays it off for Evans, who is in goal today, getting his first ever start. Bull in possession, gives that one away, and that one banged off the woodwork. And unfortunately out for the goal kick. And that was a bad pass towards Bull. Muir, again, another mistake. And again, not punished. And we hit halftime. After totally dominating, they have two should have been goals right in the final minutes after we make two big mistakes. Yeah, not a lot happening there. We are working towards a second goal, though, for sure. Muir tired and on a yellow. Might get subbed out in about 10 to 15 minutes' time. Wilson is the backup center back on the bench today. I think this is the smallest crowd I've seen. Even in preseason, we have a larger crowd than this. Evans wins that header. Bull lays it off. End of highlight. Now 10. We've added one shot here in the half, and that's been it. Corner kick. Lapalo Bai is going to take this one. That's cleared away, but Jenks is going to recover and then lay it off into the midfield. And Diddy over the top. I think we're offside there. No call. It's out for a corner. I'm not sure if Ford was the one who played that header or not, but he was the one who had been offside. Jenks, that's deflected. Sunman grabs it before it goes out. Just about. Dangerous free kick. We've played an hour. I think it's time to start making those changes. However, we got Moore who's struggling and not feeling good. We want to get him off first. His backup, though, is Josh Powell? No, McConnell. We'll bring on McConnell. Moore is very much not in the mood for this one. 13-5 is the shot, so they've now had two in this half, including their first one on target, and we've played 73. Let's get Muir out of there, even though he's having a good game. I'm very much worried about that yellow card becoming an issue. And we've got 10 minutes to go. I'd like to seal the deal and get a second goal. We have multiple subs left that we could kind of throw in together. And I think let's just do it now, regardless of scoreline. Struggling to meet pace of the match. That's not a good thing. Complacent for Bloxham on the bench, but I kind of want to get him in. I need to get Bull out, so I suppose we're going to give him a shot. Hopefully he comes out and actually makes an effort. Stoppage time already ongoing, and just 15 seconds remaining, and it's our corner kick, so unless they hit us on a counter, things are looking very good. Casanova going quite long there, and there's your final whistle, and we do come away with a 1-0 victory, starting off with 3 points in the competition. And we've kicked off the 15-hour countdown to the transfer deadline. The first rumor they're throwing at us is a $24.5 million fee for the defensive mid with Man City, and Risco is not for sale, so they're not interested in him, and I'm sure he's not interested in us either. So, good luck with that one. But they do have us also picking up Connor Mahoney, which is somebody that I've looked at for sure, as he can play on the wing, and he's certainly got skill, but he's already 30. Mario Clark outgoing is another prospect, but nothing doing on kind of the first rumor. Let's get on to the next. Speaking of Mario Clark, the offer is in. I'm going to go ahead and accept as is. There's no reason for me to fight this one. Mario Clark is never going to be good enough to play for us. Cashing in and making a little bit of money out of it, I think, is a good deal. Now, the first round of agent offers have come in with 22 agent offers presented to us with 11 hours to go. I'll be looking through and seeing if there is anyone in here that would be helpful for us. And our first transfer deadline day business has concluded with the free transfer signing of Dale Taylor, a striker, somebody who is a step up from Shaq Ford. Poacher first and foremost, but not only as a poacher. and we'll clearly not play him just as a poacher, but when you see he compares with a similar profile to Ford, but is a bit better, and at 23, he's got that little bit more attacking prowess to him, but the mental is what I'm hoping will help him carry through, as so far this season, Shaq Ford has finally been, found out of his element. He was just barely second best a year ago. He is just barely second best now with this new signing, and it's definitely an expensive signing, but we've got the cash. It's really not a problem. And signing number 2, this is a guy that I've had targeted for 2 years now. Now that we've progressed, he's definitely not the stalwart he looked like he would be at the time, but he's still very much available to come in immediately and contribute. Elkin Baggett, another center back, and gives us the depth there that we didn't have. We can move on from like an Alfie Doy and Charlie Wilson now, who are a little out of their element at this level. Those are definitely going to become fringe players now, as Baggett is a big step up from them. Hence I've been targeting a player like this who's definitely a step in the right direction from them. And I got the other one as well. So I had 2 center backs that I put offers in for. Lewis Shipley, even better. Shipley can come in and be a starter, and now I definitely have that ability to ship Doy or Wilson if necessary. Put them on the reserve squad most likely, as we certainly have better depth at center back than we had before, and we had a fullback in Terry playing as center back because I didn't have enough options there. That now is going to give me a very solid back line for this level. Defensive mid is still a concern. We've got 9 hours left to look for and try to make something happen in that department. We've added the depth to striker that we didn't have. We have the wingers. It's really just defensive mid now. The attacking mids is a little bit better than before. We could still maybe use one more in that department. Always looking for a goalkeeper as well, but I don't think nothing's popping up in that area, so I don't think we're going to be finding a goalkeeper in this window. I already have more players now than what I have registration space for, so before we get to the end of the transfer window, we'll see what we can get. Charlie Wilson, Cyrus Christie, and Sammy Amiobi have all been transfer listed. No amounts specifically, but we might try to offer them out over the next couple of hours. Let's see if we can part ways with a few of those guys. And I've brought somebody in on trial because I didn't have kind of a clean look, and I wanted to get a report real quick on them. And it looks like this would be a solid addition in Mathurin, theoretically, as he appears to be a step up from certainly Redden and then Indoweni as well. Mathurin is signing, so that gives us even more depth, but honestly more quality. And that's a good thing, because I'm remembering back to our previous episodes of the off season, and we were having a real problem finding any better quality, and here on deadline day we're finding plenty of it. And we have reached the transfer deadline, but we certainly made some deals happen right at the end. The only big loss for us, of course, was Aboa. Everything else was happy moves. Frank Terry, the only one that we actually even spent money on. The rest were all free transfers, but we've got some good additions, and definitely on the day itself we made 3 moves in a strong direction that do make us stronger. Had some offers in play. They didn't carry out over the final 24 hours. On one of those, at least, they're not carrying the same transfer deadline that we are, so it could still happen beyond tonight. But I do have those 3 guys that I offered out. None of them are registered going forward. And in a recap of League One and what has happened, Evan Ferguson coming in on loan, still with Brighton, but not getting the same breakthrough that he's had in real life. Already 22 now in game instead of 18 like he is in real life, and already producing 10 goal contributions in 20 appearances. Yet in real life, he's getting loaned all the way down to League One, so definitely not the same player here that he has proven to be in real life, despite that was 9,000. Okay, so Reading making nearly 6 million. We have turned out to be the biggest spender, I think, which is strange because it's not even 1 billion, but it's a league of definitely you have a tendency to sell some of your best players. And while you can spend small amounts, like Bolton spending 225,000 and making no money off of player sales, there's definitely a tendency to not spend a whole lot. So a $1 million deal is pretty big compared to everybody else, and really only making 70K off of a Boa is rather small compared to everybody else. But of course that's because we are just coming up from a lower division and we didn't necessarily have the best talent there either. We had just enough in terms of quality across the board that tactically we were able to put it together and beat the rest of the league. We're going to be in a similar situation this year, though I don't think we're favorites even with the additional players that we just added. I do think it's going to move us up now, though. It's absolutely going to move us up to another level. I think we've got that solid back line. I don't think we're going to be giving up a whole lot of goals. We're going to be competitive. So where I thought occasionally we would bleed goals before, I think we have enough of a strong back line capable of playing at this level that's not going to happen. But I do think there's going to be times where we struggle to score. We've gotten a little bit better in that department with our 2 additions. Actually, we had 4 additions, did we not? Yes, we had 4 additions. So a left winger, striker, and 2 center backs. One of those possibly to play as a left back, but we'll sort out how that back line looks now. And all 4 of those guys are capable of being in the first 11 or very near it. A few days past the transfer deadline, we're getting our first look at the new players out on the pitch. This is almost my current first 11, minus 2 guys, both of them on international duty. One of those is Heath. One of those is Martin, who was already on international duty for the last one as well. And that's that defensive mid. So defensive mid is remaining a weak spot for us. We did not get anybody in on the deadline day. And so Moore, who's been starting there, is one of the weakest players on our 22-man roster. So that part's going to hurt, as Mathurin already sets up a close one and sets up Moore again, but Moore's pass is given away. Fortunately, Terry wins that back. So defensive mid can and will be a problem, and that was such a key element to why we were having success before. So I am really nervous about that portion of this season. But with a good back line, we shouldn't be bleeding goals, but mistakes from the defensive mids could just ultimately make that happen. That guy is and has been offside, but he eventually gets back on. Terry intercepts. Nice cut out there. Lapalabai loses this one, though. Lapalabai is definitely not going to have the sheer quality that he had before. He's just about good enough now for this level. And so far here against Cambridge, neither team has amounted to much through a half hour played, with just a few attempts and nothing much amounting from any of that from either team, as we already are approaching halftime. Now, seeing it stall out to a 1-1 draw wouldn't be the worst result for us. Any points are good days. I think we'll have better than a 1 point per match ratio as the season goes on, but I don't think we're going to be getting 3 points terribly often here. But the current look that I'm trying to give the back line is Shipley, the new man, playing out on the left, with Terry and Baggett in center backs and Na in the right back position. And that's 4 guys that I have a lot of faith in. Now, both Shipley or Terry, whichever one plays on the left, is going to drop in quality from where they would be. It's really 3 center backs across there. So not the greatest going forward, but both Shipley and Terry can string together a decent pass. Shipley a little more so, and that's why I've got him playing on the left. Mathurin comes back out nervous and already just a 6.3 rating. I don't think he's quite gelled with the team yet, so there's a good chance that even though he is definitely one of the better players available to us, he might not be on the pitch much longer, as we'll likely go with a change. Taylor also looking like he's struggling to fit in a little bit. Shipley and Baggett, excuse me, worst ratings on the team today are the new guys. Jenks, nice clearing header there, diving to get that one out. And Mathurin's rating drops even lower with an hour played. Let's go ahead and make the switch to Indewani. 3 days of training might not have been quite enough for these guys. Apollo by inside, but that's blocked. And Mannion grabs it. He's going to clear long. Terry wins that. Side to Jenks. Jenks over the top for Taylor. Taylor! Flag stays down. Flag stays down, and that is good. We are going ahead. Wow, from nothing, really. Was that Jenks with that ball? I think it was. Jenks cuts inside his man. And Taylor, yeah, he was onside. He just anticipated and ran before the ball was played, and it gave him the advantage to get a step beyond his man. Very close, very tight, but he was level, and Taylor just heads it beyond the keeper. Excellent job there, and we've got a chance to come away with the points with only 0.1 XG. All right, so we've already got the Indewani switch. Bull has been playing way too much, so I think we need to get Bull and maybe Lapala by. Those guys are both on kind of heavy match loads, so we'll get Bloxham out there, and I do not have an additional sub. Bloxham can't push out. Indewani can't push over. I don't have Ford, like, kind of stuck on positions here, so I'll have to just go with that one. And then Moore, who's been struggling, let's go ahead and bring on Lewis Brown for his first appearance. 15 minutes to go. We will start time wasting very soon. Jenks, good job getting there. Indewani, good pass. Taylor over the top. Flag stays down, and that's out for a throw. Baggett finds Jenks. Jenks over the top for Indewani, and he taps it in, and it's 2-0, and that should be a winner right there. I don't see them getting back in this one the way this game has gone. We are very fortunate to come away with a couple goals today, but it looks like we might be picking up 3 points. Nice ball over the top, and Indewani just beats the keeper. Really needed to go kind of near post on that one. Almost got that one saved. Shipley cuts in, finds Bloxham, and Bloxham saved by the keeper. Didn't have a lot of space to work with a couple defenders in front of him. Went for the space he had. That put it just close enough that the keeper was able to make the save on it. And now we have played 90 minutes, or into the 90th minute anyway. And now stoppage time. Final seconds. This should just about do it. They're going to get one more chance at it. And there's the final whistle. 2-0. Not a deserved victory. Really should have been 1 point. In the end, we do pull enough XG to get 1 goal worth with a few clear chances towards the end. So it looks like maybe the point was just about deserved, or the 3 points was just about deserved, but certainly not the second goal. Fortunate on that part. But hey, 3 points is 3 points, and that is a good continuation of the season. We're only 3 matches in, but now that we are past the transfer deadline, things will speed up from here a bit. I am excited by the guys we were able to bring in on the deadline. I think they're going to make a real difference, and I see us where I was going, hopefully upper mid-table. I'm definitely thinking we can handle that upper mid-table now, and we might be scraping enough points as we go along to be just about on the edge of the playoffs that come January we could make an additional signing or two, especially if we can find some defensive mids finally that can see us compete for automatic promotion, or at least be able to win the playoffs as opposed to waiting till next year. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.